Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. This is my first tutorial video in a long time, and in this video I just want to go through a couple new updates with MuseScore since the tutorials that I made a couple years ago on my channel. So first off, this is obviously MuseScore 4, this is not MuseScore 3, and the main difference between MuseScore 4 and 3 are the palettes and how the score is organized. In this video, I'll mainly go through what can be found on the palette, what can be easily accessible through the layout, the properties, and how all of these parts work. So to get started, the first thing I want to go through is setting up the score. Here I have a classical orchestral template, which includes the necessities of a classical orchestra. To get the key signatures, they appear within the palette as lines that can be selected by clicking on them. So if I click on key signature, I'll get access to all of the possible types of key signatures. And then for each of these palettes, if you click on more, you'll get access to more extreme versions of the same types of markings. So in this case, in dynamics, other than pianissimo, there are more quieter versions of that, and there are louder versions of fortissimoso. To change the clef, you simply drag a clef out and apply it anywhere on the measure. So let's say I want to change bar 4 of violas to treble clef. You just drag it here and it will appear before the measure that changes to treble clef. To select and change instruments, click I on your keyboard, and this will open up the Add or Remove Instruments menu. In this menu, you can select between common instruments and all instruments, or choose any of the categories here, which would allow you to pick from MuseScore's collection of instruments. And there are a lot of instruments to pick from, but the main ones that I typically use are the ones in stringed - bowed, the ones in woodwinds, free reed, brass, and percussion unpitched. To get to the mixer, which controls the panning and the sound font, you click the mixer button here, or you click FN plus 10, which is the mute button on a MacBook. To change the sound font, you click on any of the instruments, click on this arrow here, and you'll be able to change your sound font depending on the sound fonts that you have installed. For me, I have installed MuseSounds through the MuseHub app, which is another separate app that you can choose to download if you want to use the free MuseSounds. I personally find them to be a lot better than the MS Basic that comes with MuseScore attached, and it has improved a lot since it came out with MuseScore 4.0. And here are a couple quick things regarding editing the score. To add a measure, you go to Add, Measures, and insert either after or before the selection. If you insert after, you get to choose how many measures you want to add. In this case, if I add 3, you'll see that 3 extra measures appear after the measure I selected. To delete a measure, you simply click Command Delete. And you can't see it here, but if I add a note through clicking N on the keyboard, and if I delete this measure will be deleted. If I want to copy and paste, I simply select a selection, press Command C, and then Command V anywhere on the sheet music. If I want to replace something, so let's say if I have this here and this part here, I can copy the part from the flute. I can do Command Shift X on the bassoons, and I can click Command V again on the flute. This doesn't make sense here, but it is just to demonstrate that Command Shift X will allow you to replace what you have on your clipboard with what is currently being pasted on. This is really helpful in cases such as when there are multiple flutes, or when I am orchestrating a part that has to do with violins 1 and 2, because a lot of times they have interchangeable melodies, and This is really helpful to avoid making the score more messy than necessary. Lastly, to listen back to your recording, you go to this section right here. You can click on this to rewind to the beginning. You can click on this to play. And you can click on this button to repeat back any section that you have selected. To finally look at the parts that you have composed, you click Parts and you select any one of the parts. Click Open Selected and you'll get a version of the music that only has the part in which you have selected. This is really helpful when you want to present your music to a real-life orchestra, since it removes the hassle of copy and pasting each individual part to a new MuseScore file. So yeah, that is essentially it for a brief introduction to MuseScore 4. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll definitely make more tutorials in the future on this software or on other composition software as well. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.